Good morning, Pastor Ralph, and we're having another great coffee time together as we go through God's Word and we share His blessing. We've been going through Louis Giglio's devotional, Putting an X Through Anxiety. And this morning we want to consider the thought, resizing your giant. Resizing your giant. One of the many things that the devil lies about is the size of your giant. For David, Goliath wasn't a shrimp of a guy. He was about 8 to 9 feet tall. He towered over the best of Israel's fighting men. And it's likely your anxiety looks a lot bigger and more powerful than you do. The enemy might be telling you right now that taking part in these 5-minute devotionals isn't going to do a thing to help you either. He's probably telling you, don't get your hopes up. Things never are going to change. But you have to remember that when the devil opens his mouth, he knows nothing but lies. And what he wants us, and what we need to remember, is that when the devil speaks, he never leads us to the truth. You see, your giant may look big. It may look huge. It may be overtowering you. But there's no giant bigger than Jesus. One of the things I love to do when it's beautiful and sunny around here is to go down to the Sydney Pier and there just to sit on a bench and stare at Mount Baker. And on a clear day, I see those white mountains towering over the islands and the Olympic mountain range. I am reminded every time that while my problems may seem overwhelming, there is nothing that will overcome the love, the mercy, and the power of my God. He, just like Mount Baker, our God remains the same. And today, Jesus wants to break the power of Satan's lies that would otherwise tell you that he's bigger than your problem, but to remind you that Jesus is right there. So the question today for you is this, my friend. Which voice will you choose? Which voice are you going to believe? When Moses led his people to the edge of the promised land, he sent in some spies, and when they came back, two of the spies came back and said, "Yes, Moses, we can do it. It's exactly what God has said, a land flowing with milk and honey." But there were 10 other spies who contradicted them and said, "There's no way. There are giants in the land." And their word incited fear in the nation that resulted in a 40-year sabbatical before another generation could take hold of God's promises. Whose voice are you going to believe? Are you going to believe the voice of the enemy that says it's no use, it's no good, the mountain is too high, and you're going to just remain in your place of fear? Are you going to believe the voice of your God, who says you have the power, no matter how helpless or broken down you feel, you have the power to set before you today, to fix your eyes on the giant, or you can lift your eyes higher to the God of heaven and earth with the Almighty in view. Your giant will then become oversized in God's greatness. Are you going to believe the enemy who says you're nothing but a grasshopper? Or are you going to believe the voice and the promises of your God? You see, the issue isn't the giants that inhabit the land. The problem is that when we fail to remember the size of our God, we forget how powerful the work of Jesus on the cross to defeat every giant, destroying once and for all the power of sin, death, and hell. We forget that he created the universe with just a word and sustains all things by his mighty power. We forget that he's promised to lead us through the valley and to fulfill his promise for our life. So, who are you going to believe? So do whatever you must do today to move closer to Jesus, to remember what he has done for you on the cross. To put him in front of your anxiety, your depression, your panic, your worry. And when he's there, to worship him for who he is. Psalm 16 verse 8 says, I have set the Lord always before me, because he is at my right hand. I shall not be shaken. God bless, and have a great day.